Bad teams find a way to lose. The Arizona Cardinals continue to find new inventive ways to lose. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, part of the #1 sports podcast network, your team every day. Cardinals lose 27-24. Ho-hum, same kind of stuff. It's like they're speaking the same type of language, just in different Cockneys, different parts of the world. Like last week's loss was Southern English, and then this week's loss was English in the UK. It's the same language. It just looks a little bit different. We'll break it all down. Now what? That can mean so many things. I'll discuss it in the third segment. The takeaway, the silver lining here is the good is really good. The good is really good. I'll do an entire segment on that in the second segment. But by and large, today's show is going to be about how the Arizona Cardinals continue to find a way to lose games they're supposed to win. Today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So, again, a common theme since I took over this show 9 seasons ago. If you look at just the box score and black out the actual final, like, oh, the Cardinals got to win. The Cardinals got to win. They turned the Jacksonville over 4 times. They didn't turn the ball over. They had under 60 yards in penalties, which is a huge, improvement from last week. They dominated time of possession. And then you look, you're like, oh, they lost. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, par for the course. I want to start with the end first, okay? I did my instant reaction yesterday, 15 minutes. It's up there. It's labeled Week 12 Instant Reaction. We did the Cardinal Squad show. Jamil and myself did last night. Check that out as well. But it's the more I think about the end of the game and overtime, the more damning it is. Okay, so the Cardinals are down 3 with under a minute left. Moving the ball, get a first down, get out of bounds, take a huge chunk, throw down to Michael Wilson, makes a great catch, goes down, 24 seconds left as he goes down. He spins the ball. Okay, he goes and gets it. Like, yeah, he spins the ball. That stopped everything. No, nobody was even close to down there yet. He went and got it. That didn't deter anything. Like, they may have saved a second, but that's not the bigger issue here. Come around. 19 seconds left. Jacoby Brissett is in line to spike the ball, okay? He's in line to spike the ball, and they're calling a play instead of it's like, listen, 19 seconds left, that ball needs to hit turf. 18 seconds left, maybe, needs to hit turf. That's on the players. That's not coaching. They practiced that, I promise you. And I promise you, they did not execute it well enough. And it's a backup quarterback. No. Jacoby's been here as long as Kyler this year. They've had the reps. That's not an excuse here, okay? So not only did Michael Wilson spin the ball, whatever, like sometimes, yeah. Like the Chase Claypool situation years ago in Pittsburgh, yeah. This wasn't that. He was lucky that it was such a large chunk play down the field, 40-plus yards, that it took everybody a while to get down there, so he was able to recover it, get it back, and didn't really lose. You maybe lose a second in net time. But the fact that ball didn't hit turf at 19 or 18 is a huge indictment on the players. They played pretty well throughout the course of the game. The offense couldn't do a whole lot because they couldn't run the ball, even though Jacoby's numbers are pretty good. 18 seconds left would have been great. That's 3 plays to the end zone, okay? That didn't happen. It ended up being 14. And then taking 7 seconds to throw the incomplete pass to Trey McBride, that's on the players, okay? I like the play call to Trey McBride, but for me, the biggest indictment, and I've been a JG guy, and I still, I guess I still am. Not running one more play into the end zone with 7 seconds left it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Are you trying to win or are you trying to be conservative? That was the most conservative play call that I've seen this season, probably. It's like, you're down inside the 15. Throw a lob ball to Michael Wilson. Let him go get it. Go win the game. Walk it off. There's no world it'll take 7 seconds for that play to happen. And if, you're down to 5, 4, nothing open, throw it on the back of the end zone. You have 1 second left to kick a field goal and go to overtime. Kicking it with 7 seconds left was egregious. Compounded by the fact that they should have had at least 1, if not 2 more plays called if they were able to spike the ball quickly enough. So the Michael Wilson thing, I don't even care about. He got lucky that they were so far down the field. So they kicked the field goal. And then going into overtime, the defense gives up a field goal, okay? I'm 100% okay with the deep ball. It's like, he saw the read. He's like, listen, huck it. Xavier Weaver in his career in college and in the pros, he's made a couple, mostly in the preseason. He's a great contested jump ball getter, even though he's on the smaller side. Now, could have called pass interference. I'm not ever one to be like, oh, that's PI. The Cardinals got screwed. No, Cardinals should have won this game running away, especially with the defensive touchdown. They should have won running away, but they didn't. Again, regulation was, they should have, the fact that you only get 1 shot to the end zone when that ball is caught and down at 24 seconds left, even if all the offensive linemen and Jacoby Brissett, who's not the fastest guy, have to run down the field, you should have spiked that at 18 and had 3 plays to the end zone. You had 1. And that's just, that's how bad teams lose games. That's how bad teams lose games. They can't run the ball. It's laughable at this point. Bam was 10 for 12. Bam was 10 for 12. The Cardinals were 20 for 55. Trevor Lawrence threw 3 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown. It's like, how much more? I know the defense hasn't been perfect. Okay. That first drive, they didn't even know that the game started. Travis Etienne, huge chunk game. Then Travis Etienne, I think it was a 21-yard touchdown reception. It was a catch and run. It was pretty much a swing pass. But it's like, oh, no. That's 2 weeks in a row where they're behind the 8 ball. That's 2 weeks in a row where they're behind the sticks in under 4 minutes of gameplay. So, at this point, I can't believe that the coaches aren't getting them hyped up for kickoff. I don't understand. I asked Jamil this, played in the NFL for 7 years. I'm like, do guys give up? I feel bad even asking that because I know that this is their livelihood. This is their paycheck. Obviously, you don't want a top pick because whatever position is picked, that player who's on the Arizona Cardinals will probably get supplanted by the rookie. So nobody's tanking. People don't do that. But it's like that, the special teams gaff against San Francisco in the opening kickoff that resulted in a touchdown in 15 seconds. And then that warm knife through butter defense on their first drive with Jacksonville. It's just like, what? Now you can, obviously you point the finger at the coach. Well, he didn't have him prepared, I guess. But if you watch this game, as we transition into some of the good things, because there were good things, that team did not look listless outside of that opening drive. They looked good on defense with no Will Johnson, no Dadrian Taylor-Demerson, no Mac Wilson. Obviously, Cody Simon, 3rd straight game. He's looked fine. He's looked serviceable. He hasn't been an absolute game wrecker, but he's been better than people expected right away. Especially just thrust into the action of calling plays as a rookie. I just don't know how they continue to lose these games. And I encourage you, if you're watching this or even if you're listening to this, go into the comments on YouTube and look at how many different reasons people think the losses are happening. And I'm not saying as a knock or anything. Look, there are 8 different angles that people take as to why the Cardinals lose games. It's yeah, everybody's right and everybody's wrong all at the same time, and we don't know which way is up when you're looking at this team. Another loss. They probably should have won. That's like the fourth one this year, which is 33% of games played the Cardinals should have won instead of lost. They should be 7-4 right now. And it's bonkers that you're staring at 3-8. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. The good is really good. I know some people don't like to talk about good when bad things are happening, but there was some. And the reason why it's needed for a full segment is because these are long-lasting things that the Arizona Cardinals will be able to rely upon on game day. We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Prize Picks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports. Bowl games, big basketball matchups, playoff pushes, and it's all happening at once. And while we're all making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easy way to get in on daily fantasy. All you got to do is pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, and available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks has added an extra layer of excitement to the holiday sports schedule with the new Stacks feature. Okay, they let you pick the same player up to 3 times in one lineup. So if you want to pick Steph Curry over points, over 3-pointers, over assists, or under assists, whatever it is, you can do that with Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. Locked On, #1 sports podcast platform on the planet. It's unbelievable. Thanks to everybody who's been around, who's made it a part. If you're not listening to this show, if you've got other shows you like, the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, college, NFL, daily shows that cover all of it, like it's a well-oiled machine. And I'm very, very lucky to be a part of it. Michael Wilson is the guy who I thought he was. He just wasn't given the opportunity. Trey McBride continues to show that even though he didn't get in the end zone, he's open. Another 9 receptions. Like, for those who think, and this isn't me being combative, I promise, for those who think that it was garbage time, and that's why Michael Wilson and Trey McBride had the elevated numbers in against San Francisco, part of that is right, because there was garbage time for a large chunk, and there were yards gained. That doesn't mean the proof of concept isn't there. So yesterday, a contested game all the way through. Michael Wilson, 10 for 115. Trey McBride, 9 for 79. Okay? Or 10 for 118, sorry. 25 targets combined. 25 targets combined. And that Michael Wilson catch at the end of the game was 30 yards. It wasn't 40. I was wrong. This is really good. So when you're grasping at straws, you need to look at, and trust me, I've had plenty of experience hosting this show when you've got to look to the future. Marv, Michael, Trey. They're good. They're good. And you've got Greg Dortch. We'll see if Zay Jones comes back after tearing his Achilles. Hopefully he recovers quickly. I think they've got their 3-headed monster with Greg Dortch at the 4th. Like, that proof of concept cannot be denied. Like, sure, Michael Wilson could completely not regress, but not get the opportunities when Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back, sure. But what if he supersedes Marv as the better outside option? We don't know. This isn't like a clickbaity kind of, let's pit these 2 guys against each other. Rah, rah. No. But if you've got 3 dudes, including the best tight end in football, that's really good. That's really good. And, hopefully going into next season, hopefully towards the tail end of this season, which would be so important. Trey Benson coming back. We'll see if it'll be against Tampa Bay or, the week after. If you can start to run the ball and then see what the pass game really is going to look like with the run game, then you'll really see things fall into place. The targets will come down. Hopefully the efficiency goes up. I know the efficiency people are like, well, he's not efficient. It's 32-40. He's got to throw the ball 50 times a game to keep these guys competitive because he can't run the rock. It's survival mode. But what we've seen when forced to have this style of offense, Michael Wilson produces. He's open. Everybody knows he's getting the ball. Everybody knows Trey's getting the ball. 25 targets, 19 receptions. Pretty damn good. And then Greg Dortch had the runaway touchdown. So this offense could look so much worse than it does now. The offensive line, another 6 sacks given up. And it was everybody. Paris got beat. Will Hernandez got beat. Isaiah Adams shouldn't be on the football field at this point. It's unfortunate, not a personal attack at all. He's not talented enough to be an offensive lineman with this scheme, at least. He's just not. And Beach got beat once for a sack. He's a stopgap guy. He is still a better option than Jonah Williams, so definitely not taking that back. When you see the turnovers forced, Budda Baker got one great interception. He and Jalen Thompson both had a sack. The probably the most frustrating part about what we saw yesterday compared to what we've seen so far this season, and I know that the wide receivers aren't the most fantastic with Jacksonville with BTJ hurt, Jacoby Myers really just getting into his new role there. They were finally bringing DBs, and they were getting home. Budda Baker had a sack. Jalen Thompson had the sack that resulted in the Walter Nolan, look what I found, run it in, touchdown. Like, that's what's been missing from this team. That's what's been missing from this defense. And would it have made an exorbitant difference where the Cardinals are now 7-4 instead of 8-3? I don't know. But at least you're bringing heat, and it's not just rushing for hoping Josh Sweat gets home. Fascinating part about yesterday, and this isn't the good is really good, but this is just something of note. Denzel Burke outsnapped Max Melton, I think 3x. Max Melton was on the field for less than 20 snaps. So what we're starting to see when Will Johnson comes back is the emergence of the 1-2 punch of Garrett Williams and Will Johnson, which is going to be very good. It's going to be very good. You just hope that Will Johnson doesn't have injuries his entire career like Garrett Williams started with. Because Will Johnson is still, he's one of the highest rated corners his rookie year. Trey, Michael Wilson, the DBs, it's like by and large, the sustainability of it with how young everybody is, those are just puzzle pieces that you can set and forget, put glue under it, and stamp it. Those are your new pillars. And I will say that I believe that the left guard production is, or lack thereof, is really making Paris Johnson Jr. struggle more than he would if he actually had help off his right shoulder. Everything is connected, especially guard and tackle. Everything is connected. You get pressure on the inside. You get pressure on Paris Johnson Jr.'s inside. It allows leverage on the outside where he could get beat. But when you look at what is happening amid the mud and the muck, the rose in the sandstorm, as I call it, you got those two wideouts. Hopefully Marv can come back and show, like, we saw Marv with the production and almost 100 yards receiving with Jacoby. Like, I want to see all three of those guys on the field at the same time healthy and see what the offense looks like. Now, if Trey Benson comes back and Marv comes back, numbers are going to drop. Hopefully they're going to be able to run the ball effectively. And we're going to get to see what this offense could look like in 2026. Because if Jacoby Brissett still continues to do what he's doing, and they've got a gauntlet coming up. Tampa Bay didn't look great. Looks like you're going to be going against Teddy Bridgewater, unless Baker Mayfield somehow goes from sling on Sunday Night Football to playing the next week, which if there's any quarterback in the NFL, he's one of the few that could do it. You're looking at Teddy Bridgewater, and then you've got, Houston, Atlanta, the Rams. I'm not in different order, but, you got the Rams twice still. You got Cincinnati coming up. Like, if Jacoby Brissett can produce like this against Houston, LA, and he's still able to move the ball down the field effectively like he has been, I'm good. Run it back. Get a couple offensive linemen. It'll be fascinating to see what happens with Drew Petzing. I'm not ready to talk about that yet. But I know the offense isn't perfect by any stretch. I know the offense is running in 2-minute drill the majority of the game because the offensive line can't block anybody. Well, Jacoby Brissett, he can't get out of the pocket like Kyler Murray. There's no world Kyler Murray makes 80% of the throws that Jacoby Brissett makes to move the ball down the field. We've seen it. There's way too much evidence, like proof, eyeballs proof that is true. Just think, use your eyes, look at what's happening. I know they're losing games, but the only reason they're in these games, Jacoby Brissett, is throwing the ball down the field and making plays happen. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Now what, though? Now what? 3-8, going into week 13. What happens now? We'll discuss. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. The NFL season's in full swing. NBA is in full swing. Everything is in full swing. This is the best time of year for sports. There's nothing better than being in the stadium with your friends. Concessions, cheering on your team, but let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating, and that's why I use Game Time. The app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all the fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. If you haven't been to a venue before and you want to see what you'll be seeing out of your eyeballs before you buy the tickets, they've got a panoramic sea view feature where you can take your phone quite literally and move it left and right so you can see exactly what your vantage point will be before you buy tickets. It takes the guesswork out of buying them. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. YouTube channel, subscribe, notifications, comment. This sucks. I'm here with you. It's difficult to find silver lining when the biggest opponent the Arizona Cardinals have had the entire season is themselves. So they played hard. Okay, well, the opposite is, well, yeah, they make millions of dollars. They should be playing hard. Okay. The team has not given up on the coach. I think that's pretty clear, to me at least. I don't know what the future of Jonathan Gannon is going to be. I don't know what the future of Nick Rallis and Drew Petzing are going to be. If you told me they cleaned house, I'd be like, okay, I mean, not my best option. If you told me they all came back, it'd be like, okay, probably not the best option, but, you know, after 3 years of losing football, first one shouldn't count against them. Last year was difficult. This year is even more difficult because of the expectations there. The thing that I struggle with in this now what segment, when do you actually look at injuries and say, that's the reason why this is so much more difficult than it should be? This defense, when fully healthy, is elite already. What they did with Dallas, everybody was playing elite. It is. So now you have, David Tyler Demerson missing his second game, Will Johnson missing, Mac Wilson out. I know injuries happen, and I'm fighting against myself not to just, submit and say, yeah, the injuries are a wildly big reason as to why the Cardinals are 3-8. But I'm not there yet. I think there's enough talent on this team for the Cardinals to compete. They've competed every game except for these last two, where they just got absolutely boat raced. When you have injuries and you have an offensive line that can't block, and again, the fault, the pointing fingers with the offensive line, where it's like any offensive line that has to pass protect for 55 plays a game at this point. I mean, yeah, it was 57 attempts. Can't remember how many times he got sacked last week, but it's like dropbacks that count as sacks on top of the throws that he made, Jacoby Brissett. That's 55 dropbacks. That's 50. It's like, that's so many. It should be 30. So it's almost double because they can't run the ball. So that changes everything. It changes scheme. It changes, how the defense is played, because there's no way to really control the clock, even though they were on the field for 37 minutes yesterday. It's like having to control the clock through pass is never ideal. You want to be able to have a running back gain more than 2 yards a carry. And Michael Wilson scooted a little bit Michael Carter scooted a little bit, but it's like when you're on your fourth and fifth back and you're forcing an offensive line that's already tattered to pass protect for 55 dropbacks in a game. It's like, how is this somebody's, like, it's chicken or the egg? Like, oh my God. The what now question is very difficult because there's no right answer. It seems at this point. Like, there's no even one's better than the other answer. Okay, fire somebody. Okay, what is that going to change? Well, it's going to send a message. I think the message has been sent. They're going to be out of playoff contention very soon. Like, out of, like, statistically eliminated from playoff contention very soon. You're going to be looking at draft picks. You're still going to need to go out there and try and win games like it's like your life depends on it, because you need to see who's going to be here next year and who won't be. And they've got it again. They've got Houston on the road. They've got Cincinnati. They've got the Rams twice. Like, this is the scariest environment imaginable. I feel terrible for Jacoby Brissett. Like, Houston could sack him 10 times. I mean that quite literally. So, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you hope people stay healthy. You hope the younger guys continue to produce. Walter Noel with the pick six. He left the game with a knee injury. So, like, dude, these are like the curse of rookies, first and second round guys getting hurt over the last couple of years is wild. It's wild. And by and large, they didn't have injury concerns in college. So, what now? They regroup. You hope they can be like, if Teddy Bridgewater starts, if anybody watched that game last night, he did not look like an NFL quarterback anymore. He didn't. If the Cardinals lose to Tampa Bay and it's Teddy Bridgewater, whoo! I'm not even ready to broach that topic yet. It's Monday. It's been a stressful weekend. Yesterday stressed me the hell out. Cardinals should have won that game. Again. And somehow they figured out how to lose it. We'll break it down more this week. And thanks for hanging out. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.